He's doing the opposite.
Just gave it all away for me, Derek. See, the funny thing about Minnesotans is they will support a Minnesotan wherever that Minnesotan happens to be. They just prefer that they be here.
This is such a celebration of soccer. The title is everywhere because the best in North America going up against each other. The talent gap between Major League Soccer and Liga MX is getting oh so narrow, and that has everyone excited here. Like these guys. What are you looking forward to tonight and why?
I'm looking forward to the
second half comeback.
You can't win in the playoffs like that, Frank.
Well, good things these aren't the playoffs.
Not yet. You did write a check that Derek might have to catch. You want to arm wrestle me for real?
I am not that stupid.
All right, well, very busy day. The Wild snatched victory from the jaws of defeat in the final period and overtime shootout. We'll talk about that and a lot more in 3 minutes. I would say resilient probably applies to fans as well.
Yeah.
Because you have to deal with this on a weekly basis.
Amelia, the fans are already pouring in. The doors open at 6 o'clock, and they wanted to capture the Las Vegas theme, so they have blackjack tables here. I'm a bit more of a Texas Hold'em guy. You can bluff a little bit. Even though we get into talking about how all-star games are a little bit more lax, obviously you don't want to get anybody hurt, but there is such a competitive edge between these two leagues.
There is. I mean, there's a real reality that these are the two top leagues this hemisphere.
That's not the only game in town.
No, sir. Well, the Wild are not in town right now. They're still on the West Coast. While we all went to sleep early last night, like responsible people, to try and offset this daylight saving situation, the Wild went and beat down the San Jose Sharks. So while you may or may not have been looking, they're second in the Central Division right now. Here are the big things to know from last night. The NBA season scheduled to end on April 9th, and the Timberwolves have 7 games left after playing the Golden State Warriors. Now, Anthony Edwards' fearlessness, of course, is always something to behold. He scored 13 points, 4 boards, and 3 assists. He has the presence and control to make that play, and he's third in the league in made layups. You got Naz Reid as well coming off the bench. Even when he comes off the bench, he's a game changer. He put up 23 points and picked up 6 rebounds. 10 for 17 shooting as well. Seconds to play. Here's where it gets big. Draymond Green pass jammed up by Kyle Anderson, who fed Karl Anthony Towns for the game-winning three-pointer. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Karl, and the Timberwolves win 99-96. Now's a good time to share something funny. Now, here is a tweet from Jake Kelly, known as Jake's Graphs on Twitter. He's a big Timberwolves guy, and proclaimed back in February that if the Timberwolves do not finish top 6 in the Western Conference, he'll stick himself inside an RV somewhere for the same number of hours as the team's final seed. To make this punishment more grueling, he'll take off an hour for every beef and cheddar sandwich he eats while he's there, which frankly is a horrifying idea. So with 7 games to go, the Timberwolves just broke a 3-way tie for 7th place and control it. Either these boys can catch fire and escape the play-in tournament, or y'all might want to say a little prayer for Jake's guts. The Twins are still cutting down the roster to prepare for opening day. And they finalized the pitching staff, which we know will be one of the big sticking points for us to watch out for. That starting lineup so far does not include Bailey Ober, Danny Colom, Aaron Sanchez, or Kyle Garlick. Those 4 have been optioned to the St. Paul Saints. It does not reflect their performance necessarily. Ober, in particular, is still a strong asset. Manager Rocco Baldelli says the Twins will lean on him heavily in big moments.
He'll be ready to go. He's going to pitch a ton for us at the major league level this year. He's going to probably pitch some of our most important games this year at different points, but I have no idea how it's all going to play out for each one of these guys. He's really good, and he'll be one of our starters, and that could mean a lot of different things.
The Minnesota Whitecaps played for the Isabel Cup tonight in the Premier Hockey Federation Championship after dispatching the 2-time defending champion in the semifinals. All that stood between the Caps and the Cup, 60 minutes and then some with the Toronto Six. Third period, Jonna Albers on a Whitecaps power play carried over from the second period, put the team ahead seconds into that period before Toronto's Taylor Woods tied them again, which meant overtime. And in this 3-on-3 sudden death period, Teresa Vanisova earned Toronto's first Isabel Cup with this play here. A heartbreaking way for Minnesota to lose this one, 4-3 in overtime. Still a fantastic season. Later in the second half of our show, we're hearing from the Gophers men's hockey team after last night's win that sent them to the Frozen Four in Tampa. But before that, recognize the man in black here at San Diego State men's basketball head coach Brian Dutcher, son of Jim Dutcher, the former head basketball coach at University of Minnesota. The Aztecs just narrowly beat Creighton on a last-second play where SDSU's Darian Trammell was fouled on the shot, hit just one free throw for a 1-point lead, and they won by 1 point. after Creighton's full court pass was tipped out of bounds. And Dutcher celebrated by taking a trust fall after cutting the net down. They'll face Florida Atlantic and Houston on Saturday, Derek.
And nothing like having every single Final Four team out of your bracket.
Yeah, why not? Love chaos.
He is, Jeff. He's about as large as Karl Anthony Towns, which is interesting given the way the league has gone to a very small ball format. But they did give up a lot for this guy. Tim Connolly, in his first act as the Timberwolves president of basketball operations, made a huge gamble with this. A lot of players, a lot of draft capital gone to Utah. But with this team having just been to the playoffs, having a taste of it and wanting more, this trade was worth it. With all the playoff experience Gobert has already, he will fit in just fine with these Timberwolves. And having the new opportunity that he has now after spending the entirety of his career to this point with the team that drafted him, he's just looking forward to this.
Really excited to be here. I mean, thank you, team, for believing in me and putting me in this amazing situation. I want to win. You know, I can't even imagine all the things that we're going to be able to do on the floor and, you know, and all the great things that I'm going to do for this community and, you know, to make Minnesota a better place.
So we're in the middle of the Summer League right now, but we will talk about some of the more technical parts of what this trade means for the Timberwolves later on at 6 o'clock, Jeff. But otherwise, a very exciting day for basketball fans here in Minnesota.
Mike, it was quite festive, and then it wasn't. People were just waiting, and then they had to wait longer. Too long for some who would then have to go to explain to their bosses why they stayed out all night to wait for this team to trade back 20 spots. Yeah, Mike, this is one of those things where you got to pace yourself because it's going to be a long night and a stressful night. Fans here at Glitz, one more time as the team, again, one more time at home, win or lose, hopefully win. It would be nice. We talked to some of the people here, and honestly, they're feeling pretty good about watching the Wolves perform tonight. On the ice, Apple Valley's Marine and Michaela Moran are nearly unstoppable, averaging at least 2 goals per game.
She scored more goals than all year.
Well, Michaela averages 2.4.
To make that clear. Sometimes just in the right spot, like in front of the net, and the puck just comes to me, or else I am trying to score every shift.
Marie's a senior defender, and she doesn't mind that her sophomore sister, a forward, scores more.
No, not at all. I'm not too much of a stat rat like her.
What'd you just call me?
With complementary personalities,
She's feisty. Probably one of the feistiest people I've ever met.
this works for the Eagles.
There aren't a lot of super serious moments on this team.
Honestly, for me, it gives me that extra competition that I need because I always want to be like better than her because, especially because she's my sister.
Their coach?
To coach these two? Interesting on a daily basis.
Can't ask for much more.
They're very consistent in their effort, their attitude towards the game, what they give forward, but you never know exactly which version of them you're going to get every day. Mac is one of our energy leaders. Marie's super by example, has come into herself vocally, but Mac somehow, some way can understand a room and will actually figure out the right time and right place to say something.
It's because they've spent extra time bonding.
I always kind of know about where she is, and I can just fire it, and she'll be right there to catch it.
And not just with each other.
This season's above and beyond all the other seasons we've had before just because we have that extra connection.
Our other teammates can pass around us or pass to us, and we can make a quick pass to another player. We can help make more offense.
They're savoring the time before Marie graduates to play for St. Cloud State.
I try my best to make a connection with all the younger people because might as well leave something.
And Michaela won't be far behind. Colleges are already begging for her.
I'm honestly more just excited to have that compete level.
In the meantime, the Moran sisters make coaching easy.
There's always going to be a little humor. There's always going to be a laugh. If they can leave the rink with a smile and a sweat, we did our job.
Parents are paying these people to come to games. Everyone gets a mixtape. Everyone looks at the camera now and taps on their head when they dunk on someone, and it's all highlight after highlight after highlight. And now only kids watch highlights. They don't watch the actual basketball game, the purity of the game. And you're seeing it with some of these guys that come to the NBA, all the talent in the world, but they need to be taught basketball because this is what basketball is now. Highlight culture has absolutely, it has killed the game of basketball.
Minnesota Timberwolves guard Austin Rivers' take on the state of basketball at the beginning of the year struck a chord with St. Cloud Tech junior Cameron Ferguson.
It's true to an extent. Everyone's playing for mixtapes, but everyone's also playing to get an offer. So people are trying to do the little things sometimes, but like there's also that people that just play for the mixtapes and for the media.
Ferguson and his father Don, who's also head basketball coach at St. Cloud Tech, understand the pros and cons to highlight reels on social media.
Mixtapes came along and it really helped with recruiting. If you had a mixtape, college coaches followed that, right? Because they were able to, see kids from other parts of the country that normally they would have to spend big money on, traveling on a regular basis. Now I can sit at my gym and, see a kid that might be in, the Carolinas, and I'll be able to reach out that way.
In the last 3 years, the utility and importance of a highlight mixtape intensified.
COVID really shut down that 2-year window where coaches couldn't get out and get on the road and really see talent. If you were on one of those mixtapes, that meant you were one of those guys. Now, it's strictly a recruiting tool. That's the biggest difference there, where now you really don't have to really work to get a mixtape, especially with Huddle. Everybody has a mixtape.
It really gets big during the AAU. When you see a big name step on the court, people try to go at him, and like they're really not playing to win. They're playing for like themselves.
To Rivers' point, Tamron knows the one way to overcome whatever damage mixtapes may have done to the game.
I just know, like, if you do the little things, they'll eventually come. No matter how long you wait, or like, even if there's cameras, the cameras are going to come to you eventually if you're doing well.
In St. Cloud, Norman Seawright, WCCO 4 Sports.